This is the very first episode of our new series, Tune Out, Turn On, and Drop In, exploring the therapeutic value of psychedelics. What is this? So, we're tuning out the noise of the world, we're turning on and dropping into our inner world. This is basically what psychedelics do. And it's really exciting the current research that is happening around the world into the various different psychedelic therapies that are out there. Some of the conditions that psychedelics can help with: depression and anxiety. And we're talking treatment resistant depression as well, end of life anxiety, helping people with terminal illnesses. It's also highly effective for addiction recovery and substance use disorders, couples therapy, and issues with the autism spectrum, such as social anxiety. It's really important that we discuss this openly and regularly so that people can do their due diligence and really decide if this is something that is right for them. What is actually happening within our brain when we are taking a psychedelic? Well, in order to understand this, let's first go back to when we were children. The first 7 years of our life, our brains are just completely open. We are just taking everything in. We talk about neuroplasticity, and that's the brain's ability to change. Our brains are so plastic during those first 7 years. But of course, we can't stay in that state because we need to grow up and we need to become skilled and we need to become focused. And so when we do that, basically, we're building a filtration system in our brain to enable us to focus and become skilled and to build a life. Those filtration systems can sometimes be built on unhealthy coping mechanisms, fear and unhealthy social conditioning and the expectations of others. As we become more and more focused and more skilled in our life, we have barriers to a lot of what is actually going on. And so, what psychedelics can do is help to remove those barriers whilst you're in the experience. So, it really dampens down your filtration system and lets you see what you've been missing, basically, and where you have been getting in your own way, where you have been filtering out things that perhaps maybe you shouldn't. And it really helps to give you a much bigger picture as to the totality of what is going on. And if there are filtering systems that you think, gosh, that's not been helpful for me, you're so open in that moment. You're basically back to being a child. You're being very, very open. So the brain is very plastic and it allows you to facilitate change in alignment with your conscious goals and aspirations. So it really is a fast track to neuroplasticity and making positive change in your life. So this is the magic with psychedelics. It is really beautiful work to do. So let's talk a little bit about my own personal experiences. My psychedelic therapeutic journey began in 2016 with a holotropic breathwork workshop facilitated by none other than Dr. Stanislav Grof, the doctor who created the holotropic breathwork method. So through breathwork and music, that was an incredibly transformative experience for me. And it really piqued my interest in going deeper and going further. So further along in that same year, I went to Holland and participated in a psilocybin ceremony. And I had heard of ayahuasca as a therapeutic way of helping people for many years, but I was quite scared to try it. I had heard all sorts of stories that it was really quite frightening and quite overwhelming. And I thought, you know what? I was at a point in my life where I thought, everything I'm trying is not working. Maybe this will be the answer. And those experiences were incredibly powerful and led to some amazing changes in my life in the years following, which I really do credit to those times. They weren't easy. In fact, they were incredibly difficult. So they're not for the faint of heart, really. But I felt very strongly that this was something that would help. And thankfully it did. And I had a really beautiful therapeutic framework at home, a lovely therapist that was supporting me both before and after my journey. So that was really crucial to my success. And we'll be speaking more about how to have the right support if this is something that you are looking at doing. So let's fast forward to 2024, where we are now. And I've just come back from Portugal, having taken part in a Huachuma ceremony, a 4-day Huachuma ceremony, also known as San Pedro. And I had heard that Huachuma was very different to ayahuasca, completely different, much more gentle. I think deep down, my inner wisdom knew that change was afoot, and that can feel quite destabilizing sometimes, this fear of the unknown, especially because I'm in a point now in my life where I feel like I am on track. But I also knew that there's always work to be done, and there's always deeper layers to get to know ourselves. And my goodness, that's exactly what happened. It was such a beautiful time. It was challenging. I'm not gonna lie. There were many aspects that were challenging, but the experience was beautiful. It was profound. What I did get was a much deeper, more profound understanding of so many things in my life and so many things that I espouse to my clients. I knew things on a much, much deeper level, and it was really beautiful the following week to help my friend Mariah facilitate this women's only retreat. It was so beautiful. And part of what I did was I did some yoga nidras at the very beginning of the 4-day ceremony. And then at the very end, kind of bookending the experience, which can be quite helpful for more deeply embedding learnings. Anytime you bookend something like that, it's very effective at helping the learning process. And just being there and being a safe presence. This lovely retreat center in Portugal called the Lighthouse Retreat. It's really beautiful work that they do there. They are space holders, holding a very safe, supportive space for people to do their own work. And the whole time when I was a participant, I felt so safe and so looked after and so cared for. And when you have that environment, that's when really deep, beautiful work can be done. So Aisha and Marika at the Lighthouse are just such beautiful, beautiful space holders. I think this might be my favorite psychedelic plant medicine so far because it is so gentle and it is really accessing the inner wisdom that's already there inside each and every one of us. So, what I'm going to do for you all today is I am going to do a guided meditation, and this is based on the meditation that I did at the Women's Only retreat, and it's adjusted slightly for our use here today. With each breath, and feel the ground beneath you, supporting your body. Good, that's right. And here we are, just taking a moment to arrive. We're not trying to get anywhere, not trying to change anything. We're just here, together, in this sacred space. And notice the simple act of breathing, how it's always been with you. It's a reminder, isn't it? It's a reminder of that divine presence within. That you are not just in the world, but that the world is within you. as we enter this sacred space of meditation, just take a moment to honor the connection with yourself. And allow this connection to guide you towards clarity, deeper self-discovery, and communion with the natural world.
If I could sing or play an instrument for you, I would sing and play an instrument for you. If I could dance for you, I would dance for you. If I could paint for you, I would paint for you. But my thing is words. But the problem about words is that you may listen to them.
And that would be a mistake.